I promise I didn't realize it when I was planning these, but it looks like I lined things up in such a way that the first two games in this video series have protagonists with the same name. Oops! Welcome to First Impressions, the show where I pretend to understand a game from a very small amount of gameplay. Today, we'll be taking a look at Here Comes Niko, the newest game from the people who published A Hat in Time. In case you haven't been around on the channel for very long, A Hat in Time is the first game I did a proper Let's Play series on, so naturally it's very near to my heart. I'm excited to see what this game brings. Before we go in, of course, let's look at the Steam page. Here Comes Niko is a game developed by Frog Vibes and published by Gears for Breakfast, who, as I mentioned earlier, made A Hat in Time. Similar to that game, this is a 3D platformer, a genre I generally enjoy. They describe it as a cozy 3D platformer for tired people, which sounds great because that's me. I love the decision to have part of the Steam page be written from the perspective of the characters in the game. It immediately sets this silly and cute tone that I'm imagining the game as a whole will be like. It mentions that you can catch fish, solve puzzles, snag bugs, and more, which sounds a whole lot like this is a life simulator game like Animal Crossing, and the animal characters seem to also be mimicking this style. I'm interested to see if this will pan out and what a mesh of 3D platforming and life simulation would even be like. In terms of my prior knowledge of the game, this is actually one of the cases where I know absolutely nothing going in other than what I've seen on the Steam page, so I'll be able to react to everything completely blind. From what I've seen so far, having not played it, this game seems very similar to A Hat in Time, both in gameplay and atmosphere. I'm anticipating some fun, upbeat platforming with silly, charming characters and great humor. My expectations are high for this game, Gears for Breakfast. You'd better not let me down. As usual, for how long I'll be playing, we look to howlongtobeat.com, which tells us that the game is only about 3.5 hours long. So, I'll be playing for about an hour to see the beginning. Now, it's time for me to actually play the game. Okay, I've played the game now. In the last video, I gave a very detailed rundown of the story of One Shot that I had seen. I realized after I'd finished the video that I kinda didn't like just listing story beats in a big laundry list, but if that was a good thing for people, I do want to know, so please leave a comment letting me know which style you prefer. Anyway, for this video I'll be talking in a more general sense. Here Comes Niko is very much a light-hearted game, revolving around Niko's job as a professional friend. The story is fairly bare bones at first, mostly just being silly fun and really good NPC dialogue. Hello there, Gunther. Gunther. Kind of based.
Tiny guy.
Oh,
Yay.
man. Like plants, I think they're nice.
Friendship simulator.
Plants can't be mean to you. That's so true. Talking with you has been a lot. I like this because we know that Niko has had dialogue by this point in the game.
So we know that
Niko isn't
Niko
a silent
can't
protagonist. He just chooses not to speak, I guess. Yay, I got money.
You got up on top of the building, didn't even speak to the man. The man spoke to you, and he paid you $1.
He paid me $1 and jumped off. See, that's just charming. Like, come on. However, towards the end of my playtime, there seemed to be hints at a deeper story, which I still don't know entirely. I mean, that's kind of the point of these, is I can't know the whole thing. From what I can gather, it seems like our protagonist Niko has run away from home and isn't talking with their family, and is using this professional friend job as a means of paying the bills. In these train segments between areas, Niko gets calls from people, probably friends and family, asking to visit and wondering where they went. Niko seems much sadder than usual during these, which shows how much this means to them. I mean, when the rest of the game is bright and happy friendship simulator, these moments feel almost jarring, like as the player we're only seeing a small part of Niko's world, almost like they're hiding the rest of it. Whatever happened in the past with Niko that made them decide to run away is a mystery that leaves the player wanting to play more of the game to get more of these lore segments. The gameplay of Here Comes Niko is somewhat reminiscent of A Hat in Time, in the sense that it is literally almost identical to A Hat in Time. Seriously, between dive jumping and wall sliding, this game feels so similar, and I don't mean that as a bad thing. A Hat in Time controls great, and I think more games should strive to be like it. The movement is very fluid and manages to make navigating a 2D character in a 3D space feel good, something that plenty of games have failed at in the past. The overall gameplay loop of the game goes sorta like this. You arrive at an area, do little quests for the residents to get some cash money, repeat until you have enough money to take the train to the next area, and start the whole thing over again. The quests you do are pretty chill, from fishing for the fish guy to getting bugs for the social media influencer. There's plenty of other collectibles in the levels too, which is very fitting for this style of game. There's the aforementioned bugs and fish, as well as some keys to open secret areas, and these cassette tapes for... I'll be honest, I never actually figured out what these do in my playtime. I'm sure they're important. Maybe it's like Celeste and they unlock B-sides of the levels, or maybe they're bonus music tracks or something. Overall, very wholesome and very reminiscent of Animal Crossing. The gameplay is a good blend of fun platforming and chill questing that makes it so peaceful and generally good. Now, it's hard to talk about the art of this game without starting with the very obvious conclusion. It looks a lot like Paper Mario. Of course, I mean, it's a game with 2D sprites in a 3D environment, and Paper Mario is kind of the largest example of that being done, so the comparison is too clear not to make. Now that we're past that, I can talk about more interesting stuff. I really like the colors in this game. The pastel palette really sets the tone of the game well, and all the character designs are just adorable. They're the perfect mix of Animal Crossing and modern culture, and they all feel very unique. Except the frogs, but I'm pretty sure that's intentional. Even the throwaway characters that only have 1 or 2 lines of dialogue have great designs, which is really refreshing to see. The areas look great, if a little samey from what I've seen. It's all islands, and while I appreciate that's the setting and I probably shouldn't expect more, it would be nice to see some more variation in the style of the islands. Most likely there's more variety in the levels that I didn't get to in the first hour of play, but I think that's worth mentioning anyway. I don't think I have much more to say about the art. It's charming, it's cute, and it fits the game really well. In terms of music, this game uses a lot of different styles mixed together in different scenarios. They tend toward being happy-sounding songs, although other than that, there's not really many patterns I can draw. I guess I could say that I noticed most of the songs using a drum machine and synthesizer in some way, but honestly, I don't think that's an especially important thing to say, since, that applies to a lot of music in general. One thing I did notice, though, was a faint crackling in some tracks, as though it were being played on an old vinyl record. This is a lot like lo-fi music, which makes a lot of sense for this game. Lo-fi music has this sort of connection with relaxation in modern culture, what with the whole 24/7 lo-fi beats to study and relax to thing. Given that this is supposed to be a game for tired people, I feel like that makes a lot of sense. I really do wish I had more to say about the music of this game, because I enjoy it quite a bit, but I'm really not a music guy. Fortunately, while I was writing the script for this video, a YouTube channel by the name of Scruffy posted a video talking with some of the developers of the game, and they talked quite a bit about the sound design and music. If you're looking for a much more in-depth talk about that, I'll put a card on screen now, and it'll be linked in the description. Go check out his stuff, he's really talented and is honestly doing the type of content that I'm trying to get good enough to do. I think we've covered just about everything about the game. Overall, Here Comes Niko is a wonderful gaming experience with, and I know this is kinda a stereotype for game reviews, a little something for everyone. I would give this game a frog out of 10. But the question is, would I keep playing? Of course, yeah, I loved A Hat in Time, and this feels like a spiritual successor to that. I'll totally be playing more of it. I've actually had to stop myself from playing more of it while working on this video, so once this goes up, I'll probably be playing it for a while. Good stuff, Frog Vibes. You made a good game. Alright, that's the video. Now it's the end card and the part where I don't have a script for what I'm saying, so this is all just off the top of my head. I am sorry for not getting a lot of videos out lately. I had finals and then I had a project to do, and now that it's finally over, I'm hoping to get back into doing more frequent videos, so let's hope that that works. I've been streaming a little bit more again. You can always check that out in the description, twitch.tv/Arkangel Live. That's always around. You You can also go to Arkangel Live on YouTube, which is the channel where I post clips and full VODs from all the streams. If you're really yearning for more content, that's the place to go to find it. As always, a big thanks to my patrons for putting up with me. I haven't put their names in a video for a little bit, so here's their names. Shoutouts to them. If you want your name in the video, you can go to my Patreon and give me money. If you want. You don't have to. You probably shouldn't. But if you did, that'd be pretty cool, I think. But don't. But you could. That's about everything I have to say. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.